Stay with the summit then. Protesting groups in Durban want leaders of Brazil, India, China and South Africa to call on Russia to end its war in Ukraine. There are also concerns that Africa could be overwhelmed as member states scramble for resources. Newzroom Afrika's Modise reports.
Ukraine will on Thursday mark 32 years since independence, but it also marks a year and a half since the start of the war with Russia. The Ukrainian Association of South Africa and other groups held a picket to call for an end to the war, among other issues. It says the international community should have done more given the sacrifices made by Ukraine.
Our country gave up the world's third largest nuclear weapons arsenal and joined the Non-Proliferation Treaty, which is one of the reasons why today we are not fully equipped to defend ourselves against Russia. And looks like the world is also failing to help us, even though there were guarantees back then that UK, USA and Russia would make sure that our territorial integrity is protected.
The group says South Africa hasn't fully condemned the military aggression in Ukraine.
We demand and we call on President Ramaphosa to fully and clearly condemn Russian invasion of Ukraine. We demand that Russia withdraws its military forces from Ukraine. We demand that Russia turns back to the Black Sea Grain Initiative and stops bombarding Ukrainian agricultural infrastructure and ports. And a very important demand as well is to immediately stop forceful deportation of Ukrainian children to Russia, which was the main reason for Putin's arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court.
The South Durban Community Environmental Alliance, which also partook in the picket, has criticized the summit for what it calls a top-down approach.
We saw, just like the apartheid government, at the crossover, people were consulted throughout this country to bring about change. And same thing with BRICS. There's no consultation. We are concerned about the land and our common waters, where the BRICS countries are being destructive and wanting to move thousands of people off the land in this province.
The group believes that Africa may become overwhelmed by corporations from BRICS member states.
Democracy is not practiced in China, in Russia, and even in India, where we've had lots of civil society people being oppressed and trampled over. We know Tiananmen Square is a grim reminder of how many people were killed in China because they stood up for their rights. We do not want a system that's going to bring about that in South Africa, where people have died and fought for this democracy.
The South African Kashmir Action Group accused India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi of murder and oppression in the region.
We are here to protest against the human rights violation in India. We're saying your presence is not acceptable. We want to remind him the South African government have allowed us at the NPA to open a war crime case against his atrocity in Kashmir. We want his arrest warrant. We want him to be arrested.
Another protester doesn't believe the summit will do much to address poverty and equality.
Abangusuthatha inqumo ngaphandle kokuthi bakhulume nathi badayisile ngathi sindle emnyama kwenele badayisa ngomhlaba wobabamkhulu kunamhlanje akuve kunyantisa igazi njalo mawuthi uyangena kwimedia uthola ukuthi kunomuntu osifazana obulewe wanqunywa iBRICS lana angifuni uqamba amanga ayizile ngoba izoletha umnotho thatha lokhu exaksele ubisi liphelile thina siyiNingizimu Afrika inkomo abamusa ukuyisenga noma sebebona ukuthi seyilele phansi ubisi liphelile sekuphele khona.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Nobuhle Modise in Durban.